So, during the POCO F series launch, there were lots of claims and comparison between this POCO F7 Ultra against other Ultra phones like the S25 Ultra and other flagship phones like the iPhone. But if you really dive deeper and use this phone daily, there are some areas that makes this phone not so ultra. Let's start with the design. Now, using it daily for the past 2 weeks, I love this matte finish as it is not a fingerprint magnet. It has a nice weight and a brand new design. So if you're like me who types the phone on the surface or on a table, that's a yes in terms of not having the phone to wobble. Now this yellow color is more of a gold mix to it, so it's not exactly like how the yellow color was on the previous POCO F7 Pro that I've reviewed and also preferred. Now the frames are made of metal, but on top of that there's also an IP68 rating. So in this particular build quality and design, I would say yes, this is an ultra smartphone. Now, as for the display, talking about the screen quality first and foremost. Now, while I do appreciate POCO giving us a screen protector in a box for free, thank you POCO, but the quality of this screen protector is as good as buying a Kling-On wrap. Let me explain. So the display quality on the phone is really good. It matches the specs of the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. But when you use this screen protector daily, it actually makes the phone screen look worse than it actually is. It attracts lots of smudges to a point that it makes the phone look old. So I just removed it at the end of the first weeks of use, and only then I learned to appreciate it better. But while it has the exact resolution and the refresh rate as the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, but the fact that it has no LTPO display, it will not give you the same Ultra screen experience. So is the display Ultra? Very close, but to me, not so ultra. So after the event, I had an interview session with Angus Ng, the head of product marketing, and he admitted that they have struggled to give the best on their cameras. But while I wouldn't agree with that, because phones like the POCO F3 at that time was one of the best smartphone cameras for the price. But what annoyed me the most since then is that they didn't even bother to move forward with better quality, specifically on their video quality. But before going into the video, the pictures on the phone indeed looked really nice. The ultra-wide lenses look great individually by itself, but the color shift between the ultra-wide lenses and the main lenses was an issue at first when I first got the phone, when you compare it side by side. But after a recent software update, it finally looked very similar. So that was great to know. And the main lens or the 23mm lenses look great too. And you can zoom all the way to 60 times zoom. So as long as you have enough light, it will give you great results over here. But among all, I have to say that I'm super in love with this new telephoto lens because I did find myself using this lens the most. It has a nice and detailed shots, and it was really amazing even at night. The portrait mode was also great, where you can choose between 24, 35, 60 and 75mm, and even the selfie photos were really great, whether or not it's just one person or even many people, and even at night too. But there's one tiny annoyance that I have with the photos. It is not about the photo quality, but it's about the watermark feature. Now, while this doesn't affect everybody, probably just me, you know there's nice film watermark that you get down below when you take a picture. Well, I actually really like them. But while this film watermark is available for the regular photo modes, but if you switch to the portrait mode or night mode, it turns it off by default. And if you turn it back on, you only have the option for the regular watermark. And once you select that, if you go back to the regular photo, it turns off the watermark altogether. Like why? Why couldn't there just be a consistent watermark throughout every photo taken? I'm not sure why, but let me know if this is something that matters to you too, or is it just me? So for the photos, I would say that the main lenses and the telephoto lenses are indeed ultra, but the macro mode was definitely not so ultra as seen in these photos. Now going on to the video, the rear cameras can record up to 8K 24fps. I love the quality for that, even at night, and so was the quality for the 4K. So that was close to being an ultra level, so I'll give it that. But the fact that the ultra-wide cameras have a recording limit of only 1080p in year 2025, it was something that I just could not brain, because this is a 32 megapixel ultra-wide lens, and the phone also comes with a flagship Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset. So why is there a limitation over there? really beats me. And while the front camera also has a same 32 megapixel camera, the story is the same, just recording 1080p recording for the front camera. So that obviously means that the phone's video is not so ultra over here. However, when it comes to the gaming performance, that is something a little different. Because while it ran Genshin Impact at the highest graphics, but you're hovering only close to 60 FPS. Now there were some frame drops during battle scenes. I'm not sure why it is happening because it is using a flagship chipset and it doesn't happen with other phones with the same exact chip. Now comfort wise it felt great, but the camera bump might need some getting used to. Then temperature wise, it is warm about 15 minutes of gaming, not too hot at all. Battery drain was also not noticeable too. Then for games like COD Mobile, which is not that demanding, it is where you will get the 120 FPS. So for me, when it comes to gaming, I would say that this was not so ultra. Then as for the phone's battery life, this 5300 milliamps of battery gave me an average close to 5.5 hours of screen on time, and that is with the WQHD Plus resolution instead of the default FHD Plus. So you'll get more screen on time if you stick to the default FHD Plus resolution. So that amount of screen on time with that high resolution does seem ultra to me. Then software wise, I didn't come across any issues of lag and stuttering when I was using the phone daily. Phone quality was really great, receptions were also great without any call drops whether or not I'm driving on the road or even driving in a basement parking. But speaking of phone calls, the not so ultra thing about it is the fact that there's no eSIM, something that a lot of people complain about, and I didn't like the fact that it has no eSIM as well. So yeah, now that we have established what makes the Poco F7 Ultra and what does not make it seem like an Ultra, I have a question for you. Will you buy the Poco F7 Ultra or would you prefer to save some money and go with the Pro instead? Now speaking of which, my comparison video between the Poco F7 Pro and the Poco F6 Pro is coming, so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't done so.